Lilo and Stitch's 2025 remake is an okay remake, offering the best that Disney could possibly do in these types of films, but still dragged down by the worst of its unnecessary existence. Because as many people know, I am a major fan of Lilo and Stitch growing up, speaking as someone from Hawaii, where the film is near and dear to my heart, loving the work of Chris Sanders, who returned to reprise his voice for the iconic character he made that long ago. Where with that knowledge, I was really expecting to hate this movie initially, unlike any other remake, because of what they would change or make compared to the original, growing up with it close to my heart, but after seeing it, I'm actually more content with the film itself, thinking it's one of the best that Disney has done recently. Something that really, and I mean really, isn't actually saying much since it's still far below the likes of Cinderella at the moment because of what it still does and where the original watercolor designs and overall animation did, but still better than the past few films since the likes of Beauty and the Beast came out. Like, you look at this film and its world taking place in the current day, it actually makes the most sense to do for a live action film as far as our real life is concerned, compared to the countless fairy tales that take place hundreds of years prior and require vomit-inducing special effects, where I'm just more appreciative of this being better than what those were, especially the last film released that I did not want to see. However, this is not going to save the movie from all its other problems which still infuriate me for a live action film and completely miss the point of why they had them in the first place, where if you're going to have one thing, then you should have the other, where I don't really think you would care about spoilers much in this review since this is a remake, where I'll just mention a few details here and there about this film, most of which is being the inclusion of newer characters split from the original and removal of others like Captain Gantu, a bafflingly stupid choice that makes this movie not that good at all. Like, the biggest problem you notice in these recent live action films is its length, that it tries to be more than the original animated film, which is done within the confines of the time and what could be animated for the very work that they could do, where films like this try to elaborate itself but ends up doing a worse job at it. Where at least thankfully this film is not a musical where they would just add new songs or new rhythms to a character that is either a hit or a big miss and just involve the background vocals of songs we knew like Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride or the Elvis songs that we knew. Of course there is newer music like the opening He Mele no Lilo, now called Hele Papahi no Lilo a Me Stitch, done once again by Mark Keali'i Ho'omalu and Kamehameha Choir, who if you didn't know, I'm actually related to from a distant Hawaiian ancestor of mine, which is cool and keeps things fresh alongside the newer cover of Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride, and something that is very appreciative since it doesn't actually do too much for what it is as that very film. However, again, on the other side of things when it comes to the characters, they are just split up unnecessarily with the removal of things like Gantu, having Nani's original voice actress be the new social worker keeping up with Nani, while Cobra Bubbles is now just a federal agent taking part of Gantu's capturing role in a way, which kinda misses the entire point of the character and what he was doing originally, where I can only think this is just another attempt at being modern and fulfilling fan service roles of the original cast back, which there are indeed of the original cast except for a few. And if you remember others like Mrs. Hasagawa from the original, her actress now plays a new role in an elderly Hawaiian lady called Tutu, which of course means grandma, actually being David's grandma in this version of the film. Like in this case, it's actually done in a nice way, where I'm not really hating some of the choices in the world that they build with these characters, but when you disclude some other choices and make them a different role, you remove the fun, heartwarming element of why it even worked at all, the emotional beats of why characters interact in this certain way, and why animation actually express that much better in their own reactions. Because if you have aliens like Jumba, Pleatly, the Grand Councilwoman, and so on, why not Gantu? Why not have all the original elements of the film, like cross-dressing Pleatly, which I actually understand why that couldn't work here, and feel fine that they had the actors play themselves in a human form, but also something that is vastly disappointing by how it turns out in comparison. Like things like Zach Galifianakis does not match the performance that David Ogden Stiers did as the evil genius Jumba with a Russian accent, and is just more of himself, if you get what I mean. That is something that really takes away in more ways than one. But on the positive side for the characters, I do like the main cast and the work of Maya and Sydney for what they could do and feel with the story, with of course Chris Sanders giving the best performance as he has done for well over 20 years at this point, which is something that will work greatly with family audiences because this movie's core focus still makes family its center point. Like, it doesn't give up what that is, and that's what I love about this remake, is that it's still there. It doesn't veer far off the path that these other takes that have been doing to add unnecessary modern inconveniences, where it does just take place in modern times but also knows what it wants with that message of ohana and family, which still hits very well and I think kids will enjoy and look up to their parents with. But again, this is a film that has so much to offer to be better than this pathetic bunch of films they have produced recently, but they still fall short in truly delivering what it could be to put it above something like Cinderella to actually be a good film, which it can. The minor choices that they make to either extend it or have another character extend off are the reason why this film drags down, because we know a better version that was done prior and with less time. Like, there is this weird element of the actual alien still interacting with the humans in this form, and yeah, it does look very awkward, but that is also what you get when you do a film like this. You still have that charm and some elements here and there, but you just wish they understood how important those characters were in the way that they were, instead of making someone else the villain, or another extent of that original, because that's not what the heart will be, and of course, like everyone says, it's just a movie you will forget, remembering the original completely instead. But I will say it's something you could still have fun with, enjoying a movie, having some popcorn with friends in the theater, and of course more importantly family itself. Never forgetting what should be remembered the most about this film, even if it really shouldn't and doesn't actually have much to say otherwise. Like seriously, I really do hate choices like making Jumba the actual villain of this damn adventure, because I grew up following him and his experiments during the series. That just completely invalidates why I love it, and is a gross disservice and reminder that nothing of this is really worth of value and just a movie that simply exists. But if you're a straight fan, in it for yourself to see this type of story, you really actually shouldn't waste your time, because it's not going to be anything greater or less for that value. It's not a must watch, and it's just something that's hopeful that Disney sees compared to something like Snow White, to have people want family fun to see the wobbly adventure that these films can go on. But for now, we can just rejoice that what they have with this is just something that does an okay job, that won't make you hate yourself or them for actually making you see it. I'll have more thoughts when this film actually comes home to where it belongs, just like Moana 2, because it's literally just that kind of film again that's not hateable but also not likable in that extent. I'm all done. Goodbye.